coincidence, John, that I
Yeah.
met you at a coffee bar, and now you can help me out with ViDA.
Yeah, no, that should be karma, right?
Yes.
That's how it works. No, I'm glad I bumped into you and heard you moan a bit about ViDA.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of companies go through that same struggle at the moment.
Okay.
They hear about it, there's a lot of noise about it, especially from tax professionals like us.
Yes.
But also from the European Committee, who wants this proposal to be accepted, because we're still in the proposal phase.
Okay.
They launched the proposal last year, and they asked for all the member states, professionals to comment on it, which happened.
Yes.
And things may change, but I think roughly the way the proposal is drafted will probably survive in its most format. So let me explain a bit about ViDA, give first a bit of a background.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been doing this business for a few years now.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years, and
Yes.
it's kicking off and you're expanding, so that's
Yes.
perfect. What may or may not have happened, that you may not have always had the correct VAT treatment on the sales that you issued in the business. That happens, I wouldn't be ashamed about that.
Okay.
Sometimes the rules are quite difficult, and the EU has recognized that as well, but they also recognize something else, which I think is more important to them. They miss out on VAT on quite a large scale every year. In 2022, that was roughly 93 billion euros.
That's a lot of money.
That's, by head of person, that's like 3,000 euros per minute. It has a lot of different reasons. One of them is that we're dealing with a very old-fashioned set of rules. The VAT rules that we all live with and that you have to abide to are all from the previous decade.
Okay.
So they're 30 years plus old. They're not in sync with the current way of doing business, so they've lost out a bit on digital.
Yeah, yeah.
And the digital economy.
Yeah.
So what they have decided, and VAT that's exactly what it stands for, VAT in the digital age. It's a set of measurements. And when Sweek gets in, he has a call going on right now. Once he's out, he will join us and he will tell you more about the marketplace, which I think is the most relevant for you.
Yes, yes, definitely.
But there are two basically technical measures that will be in place. One of them is electronic invoicing.
When I bumped into you, I was working on some PDFs. I was trying to send those PDFs, but is that electronic invoicing?
Maybe not. I'll come back to that. I'll explain that.
Yeah.
E-invoicing is all about making sure that when companies do business in Europe, and in the initial stage it will only be cross-border business to business that is covered by ViDA. If you issue an invoice from no later than the 1st of January 2028, you will have to issue an electronic invoice in the meaning of electronic invoicing. PDFs, as you do today, does no longer qualify as an electronic invoicing.
Oh, okay.
So it will be replaced by a system that is all about transferring data in an electronic format.
Okay.
And for your customers to be able to receive that invoice in that same data format and to automatically process it in their administration. So instead of sending each other paper or PDFs, you're now sending a data file across, which will immediately be connected and received by the customer, is booked into his own system, so he can pay you quicker as well.
And I have a question about that, because ViDA is for the European Union.
Yeah.
So will there be like one system?
What they will propose is a standard digital format for an invoice, and they've given it a name.
Okay.
But in reality is in Europe, in the EU, if they always are seen as guidelines, countries, member states always have some flexibility to choose and decide something else. I'm not sure, but if a company is dealing today already with public organizations, with governments, some of them in some countries already have a mandatory obligation to submit electronic invoices in the right way. But electronic invoicing comes step one. Very important for you to know that the format is one, but you will find a software provider that can help you.
Oh, okay.
The content, what needs to go on the invoice, is slightly different from what you do today. But I think the most important part is you have to issue your invoice no later than 2 working days after you have supplied your products or provided the service. And I don't think most companies do that. Today you have time until, let's say, the mid of next month to issue a valid invoice.
Yeah. But that's something to be aware of, and it's good to know.
That's changing, but it also means that you have to be sure by the time you issue your invoice, no later than the 2 working days, that it's correct.
Yeah.
So understanding the VAT rules when you do business with other countries becomes more important.
Okay. Yeah.
The invoice is just a result of that decision process.
Yeah.
Once you have it right, you're fine. The second part they're introducing I think is really important is the digital reporting requirements, because that will also force you, also within the same 2 working days, to submit the data that you've shared with your customer with the tax authorities, with your tax authorities.
Yes.
Every invoice that you issue, the data captured by that invoice will also be shared with the authorities.
Okay.
So they have that information from you already. The upsides are that since they have that information already, there will be changes in the way that you report to them. So today you may have all kind of different reports, VAT returns and maybe some listings and other stuff.
Yes.
The listings are all going to go away.
Yeah.
They're going to be replaced because they already have the information. So you don't have to do that. So that's the good part of it.
Yeah.
I think the lesser part is that is the fastness in which you have to do that, because 2 working days, basically you have to make up your mind on what do I put on my invoice before you send it to the customer, knowing that you're also going to send it almost simultaneously to tax authorities, who will then know exactly what amount of VAT is due from you.
Yeah.
And they will be able to check whether you did it right, whether you made the right decision on your invoice.
Thank you, John, but that was a lot of information.
I know. I know.
Can you just summarize it for me?
Sure. Yeah, what is important for you to know about ViDA is that there will be a different way of electronic invoicing.
Yes.
So bye-bye to your PDFs and welcome standardized digital formats. That you will have to do it quick, within 2 working days after you've actually delivered your goods. And that you also have to share that information with the tax authorities almost at the same time. So if you get your setup correctly, you will have a lot of spare time. And if you have any questions later on, you always know how to find me. I'm always in the coffee corner in the morning.
Okay, good
so
to know,
the moment
John.
I hear somebody say something about ViDA, we find the
I
connection.
know where to find you.
Okay, it was nice meeting you.